When Megyn Kelly interviewed the Duggar family about their son Josh sexually assaulting minors when he was a teenager, she also talked to an expert about the broader issues surrounding child sex offenders.
This family faced a terrible choice. 1/3 of people who sexually abuse children are children themselves. So as a society, we have to recognize this. We don't talk about this.
In instances of sexual violence, advocates say the focus should first be on the survivor's needs. In the U.S., survivors of child sexual abuse are estimated at 1 in 3 girls before the age of 18 and 1 in 6 boys, although the rate that these instances are reported is believed to be very low. And in 90% of assaults of children younger than 12, the victim knew the assaulter. Charles M. Blow, a columnist for the New York Times, says these recent cases can serve as educational opportunities to prevent the abuse of children, and writes, "Once we soberly assess the contours of childhood sexual assaults, we can better understand the need for early conversations with children about body safety and ensuring that they have safe spaces in which to express themselves." On the Kelly File, author Emily Horowitz argued for treatment programs for the juvenile offenders. The Department of Justice reports 85 to 90% of people who commit this crime as children do not do it again.
In researching my book, I interviewed many people who grew up on the registry, who were convicted of sex offenses as children for things very similar to this. The average age of people who sexually abuse children, who are child sexual abusers of children, they're 14.
This comes at a time when some states are debating reforms for juvenile sex offender laws, and especially the practice of putting juveniles on sex offender registries. NPR reports about 40 states put children on sex offender registries, and about half of those states make those registries public. Advocates say this practice gives children a life sentence for a group that is unlikely to commit the crime again.
This person has this label for the rest of their life based on something that they did when they were a child.
Juveniles should not be subjected to registration or notification. In the absence of any supportive evidence whatsoever that there's a community safety effect, youth should be protected from these laws.
A director of a youth and family services organization told NPR some juvenile offenders are truly dangerous, and he doesn't think the registries should completely go away.
The juvenile who's looking for multiple opportunities and just prefers and likes to have contact with younger children would be high risk to reoffend and should be on the registry.
For Josh Duggar, Above the Law writes, far from an isolated incident, his alleged offenses involved multiple little girls on multiple occasions. Far from teenage exploration between peers who are nevertheless underage, his acts reportedly took place when he was 14 and his victims were as young as 5. Duggar was never prosecuted in the case and is not on the registry. His family has protested the release of the police records about the incident and says they're exploring legal action. I'm Kate Grumke for Newsy, News with the Y.